So yeah, hi guys. In the last video, we talked about multiple things like Linux features, why Linux we use, and I given you the many multiple reasons like Linux is using some hierarchical structure to maintain the things or to maintain the files in the folder, and what is the difference between GUI and CLI. All those things we discussed in the last video, but all of this thing like we need to discuss more in the details. So the agenda is to discuss more about the Linux file system today. How what is the like why Linux file system is hierarchical. So that we're gonna discuss, and we're gonna discuss more about some internal files and the folders. So there is a many blogs I saw during my career also. So it's a bit confusing, and nobody tells you the whole things in this kind of detailed manner. Uh, So yeah, so I thanks to my mentor also for this, making me all of these things clear. So let's discuss the things in a very deep manner. So let me go to my terminal screen. So in the last video, we also discussed about like why, like what is the thing difference between GUI and CLI. So guys, whatever you are seeing on this screen, it's all like GUI. Why GUI is like I'm able to use mouse, I'm able to click on multiple options like with the mouse, or like I can able to see the time, what is the time here, what is the battery status, everything I am able to see with this mouse. So yeah, that is all about the GUI. So GUI is nothing but it's like an interactive method to communicate with the operating system. So as I told you, to communicate with the operating system, there are mainly two ways, GUI and CLI. You can assume it like this. So you are in currently in like India, or like in India you are in at some city or some state, you can say it like Jaipur. Now you want to go to some another city, let's say Hyderabad. So to go to Hyderabad, there are many ways. One of the ways like you can travel by train. One of the ways like you can like travel by airplane. You can travel by like your bike. Many multiple ways are there. Similarly, to interact with the OS, there are like mainly two ways, but the motto of both of them is to interact with the operating system, or to connect or to run the application by connecting to the operating system. Similarly, here the ways are different. The motto is same, to reach to Hyderabad. That not depends like which medium you are using to reach Hyderabad. The motto is same. Similarly, yeah, so GUI is the way in which mouse we can use, but in the last video also I showed you one example of GUI versus CLI by using the command line how we can launch the Firefox. So you need to understand one thing is like GUI, when you are opening some things from GUI, it is running some command in the background only. So it's like that whatever you are doing from GUI in the background, that particular operation or that particular mouse clicking is doing or running some command only. So at the end, command is like running on the system, whatever you're doing with your mouse also. So why we are using CLI? So if we know the command behind that particular operation, we can directly run that particular command. That's then we don't need the mouse. Why we need the mouse? So let's say your motto is to open a Firefox. So there are two ways. One is that is GUI, that is using a mouse. Another way is like CLI, that is using some command. So internally the GUI, when you are clicking mouse at the end, it's running command only. What happen if you know the command directly? Then you can directly launch the Firefox. Then you don't need the mouse and everything. So this is a point number one. You can assume it like or the rule number one. Whatever you are doing with GUI, whatever means whatever you are doing, like clicking on particular browser, opening the camera, opening the text editor, creating some files, making some folders, anything, whatever you are doing with GUI, in the background it's running some command only. That's the one thing. How I can show this thing to you is, see, so I want to open a Firefox. So I'm going to this applications and clicking in Firefox. So this thing I done with the help of my mouse. So I click the mouse on that particular Firefox. Then it's like it launched the Firefox for me. But now what if I know the command behind the Firefox? So this thing will come with your practice, but I'm telling you the command now. So command is Firefox only. See, as soon as I launch or as soon as I press that particular command, it launches the Firefox. See, Firefox is running. Now, if I close that particular Firefox window, this process that I launch with the help of command, it will automatically ends. It's like closing the tab and closing the Firefox. See, it's automatically close. Now, what I can do is like there is one more command that you can use. So let me open my another window to show you this demo. Yeah, I am in this particular folder, and now if you see here, I am creating one folder from here. So let me create folder. So folder name is let's say Linux. So this way of creating folder is with the help of GUI. But if you check all of this folder, there is no folder with the name called Linux 2. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to back to my terminal, and by chance I know the command to launch or to create a folder also. So what I'm doing is the command to create a folder is mkdir, that means make a directory, and then you need to give the name of the directory or name of the folder. So I'm giving Linux 2. As soon as I click this particular command, whatever we are doing with the GUI or whatever we are doing with the mouse with the graphically, same thing is happening in the background also. So that particular new folder creation with the mouse is also running the same command. So yeah, if I go to the, again that particular folder to show you, before that there is no Linux 2, but now it's here. So the motto of telling you about this is at every operation whatever we are doing with GUI, behind that particular operation of that mouse, this particular some program is running internally, and they are creating this particular operation of they are achieving this particular thing by running command only in the background. That's what I want to tell you. So if you know the command directly, you can do whatever you want to do in your operating system. Yeah, so one of the operation is like you are launching camera with the mouse, that you can also launch with the help of command. So command in Reddit Linux is cheese. So if you type this command in your terminal, it will open a camera for you. Yeah, so there is the GUI and CLI difference basically. So these are like both the things are same, and the mode of both the things are same, like connecting to OS and running some application. Only the way is different, like you are going with train or you are going with airplane. The way is different, but the motto is same. So that's what I want to tell you in the GUI and CLI, that everything is a command in the background only. Now, in the last video, I told you that the feature of Linux is it is it follows a hierarchical file system. Now you need to understand what is file system. File system you can think of like a folder that you normally use in your school to manage the things. Now let's say your teacher given you a science assignment, your teacher given you another teacher given you SST assignment, and your another teacher given you a math assignment. So what you normally do in school is, for science you created another folder, for SST you created another folder, and for maths also you created another folder. Now why we are creating this so many another folder for each subjects? The reason behind this is just a single reason is there, that is a management. So you want to manage the things in a efficient manner, in a specific manner. So what I mean by this is, so your teacher comes and says please give me a science assignment, then you need to open this folder, particular folder only. You don't need to go to this folder and this folder, only you need to open that science folder. What if there is a single folder? Inside that single folder you are maintaining every subject assignments. Then your teacher comes and said to you, please give me your science assignment. Then you need to search in this whole folder. So that is not an efficient manner. That is a waste of time and waste of your energy also. So that's why what we done is like we are creating some different folders for different subjects just for the management. Same thing is there in the Linux also. Let's say you need to see the devices that are attached to your system, like hard disk, or let's say camera, or any other external devices. Or let's say you want to see your folders that you created, or the applications that you need to create. So normally you done the same thing in your mobile also. What you done is you created one folder in mobile that is like of games. Another is creative things. In this you are maintaining the PowerPoint, Word. In this you are maintaining FIFA, PUBG. Likewise you created folder also. And so same thing done in the Linux also. So Linux follows the hierarchical system. What does it mean by hierarchical system is, so it manages the things in a category wise in hierarchical folders, or I say folder or file system. So file system, you can assume it like folder. Why folder? You can assume it. File system means you are maintaining or you are systematically arranging the files or you are managing the files. And folder also does the same thing. Like folder also help us to manage the files or help us to manage the category wise files. Like same thing we done in the mobile also. Like we created this folders or we created this particular file system with a name called game. So we are managing games inside the particular folder, and you another folder you created or file system you created with the name called creative things. So you are maintaining PowerPoint, Word, whatever you are using for your creative things. So yeah, you can assume it file system is like folder, because file system means how you are managing your files, and folder also help us to achieve that thing. Now, what Linux done for us is, or Linux what does is for us is it's created some particular folder or subfolder depending on the task, or I say depending on the categories. So when we install the Linux folder, so it installed or it created one folder with the name slash. You can assume it like your C drive. So when you install the Windows in your laptop, the first folder that is created is C drive. Inside the C drive, there are multiple things created like desktop, documents. So in documents, you are managing your documents. In downloads, all the downloads thing are there. So yeah, so that is like management thing, and it's a hierarchical thing. Same thing in Linux also. So in the slash or in the C drive, it's created some different I say subdirectories. So what are those subdirectories? Let me discuss with you. So there is one directory called bin. There is one directory called etc. There is one directory called dev. There is one directory called temp. Another is like home. Let's say usr. Another is your like boot. Then you can see lib. And where we can see this directory is, let me show it to you. If I go to this particular, sorry, yep, this one. Now if I go to the, see, downloads are here, documents are here, home is here, and if you go to some other locations, let me go it to you. See, in the home there are multiple folders like desktop, downloads. It's home, you can think of like your C directory. you can think of or like let me go to the other location. If I go to the computer, see, boot is there, event is there, media is there, dev is there, etc is there, home is there, proc is there, SRV is here, temp is here, and in which these all the things are reside here. If you see in the down here, all these things are in the slash. Now let's say if I go to the OPT, now I am in OPT folder. Now what is the use of this multiple folders? Now why Linux created so many folders? So as I told you, it's just for the management things. So let's say you want to search the boot files, then you will go to this particular folder. You don't need to search bin etc dev, so that makes your task easier. Now what all this folder contain, let me explain you it one by one. So slash is a root directory, that means all the things or all the folder that will install in the future under the slash only. So slash is a like root directory in the Linux. You can say slash is a root directory or like root folder. In Linux normally we call directory to the folder. Now slash bin. So slash bin is a directory, is a folder that contains the binaries. Now what is mean by the binaries is, binaries you can think of like program files, or you can think of like your applications that is installed in your system. Now what the slash etc will contain. So slash etc is a directory or a folder, we can say, that will contain the files, I can say, that is related to the administrative task. Now what is the meaning of administrative task? You can think of like if you want to change something on your particular system at the admin level, or like you want to manage your passwords, you can manage your how many users are there in your system. So all of those files are in particular this etc. There are multiple files in the etc. Let me show it to you. If I go to the back, one second. Now if I go to the etc, yeah, here is the etc. See how many files and internal folders are there. And if I show you one of the file, here is, let me show it to you, it's somewhere in the down only. So everything that you need to manage, see, this is a file that is passwd. So this file contains all the things regarding your users, like this is one of the user in your system. And if you remember, we created, while installing the system, we created one of the user with the name called, let me show it to you, dverma. See in the down. And what are those other fields of this file? I will explain you when we'll go more in detail. But as of now, you can think of like etcs per admin level task. So dev is a directory which contain the device informations. Now device information in sense, if you connected your pen drive, you connected your CD, if you connected your speaker, everything will be inside a dev. Now what is the temp directory? Sorry. So temp directory is like maintaining the temporary things. What I mean by temporary things is, if you running some applications, so those particular application is let's say PUBG you are using. So when you install PUBG and when you are running your PUBG, that particular application needs some files, but that files we don't need permanently in your system. That means we don't need in your hard disk. We need in a hard disk, everything is in a hard disk, but we don't need it permanently. So what this file, where this file is placed, it is placed in inside a hard disk, but inside a temp folder. Now why temp folder? As soon as the work is done by that particular application, so those files are automatically like removed because we don't want them permanently. Now another directory is like slash home. Slash home is a directory where your files per user level is there. Now, what I mean is, let's say in our system, two users are there. Let's say root and Sri. So this is one user, this is second user. Now root is creating some programming files, or let's say addition of two number using Python. So this file is created by root, and what I done is, like, what this user done is, it's created a multiplication of two number. This is different program file. So now there is, in the slash home, subdirectories are there. Now these subdirectories are per user level, and inside that particular subdirectory per user level there are files that are associated with that particular user. Let's say root. So inside slash home there is another directory with name called like root. So it's just a name, don't confuse it with a super user, or like you can assume it like home Shri. And inside this particular subdirectory there are files that are managed by that particular user. Yeah, so you don't need to go to any other home subdirectory of any other user. You need to go to your user directory only to see your things. So there our Linux, what Linux done is, so as soon as you created some new user in your system, it is creating some directory inside slash home, and inside the slash home, when that particular user get login, that user will be launched, or that user, the default directory of that user is slash home and that username. We will see more in this detail when we see the upcoming commands like user add or user mod. You can change it also, but that is a good practice to manage the directories per user wise inside slash home. So it's easy, it's kind of standard you can think of. Now slash boot, what is the use of slash boot? Sorry. So this is a folder, you can think of like your main folder. Why I'm saying this your main folder is because inside a slash boot there are multiple files that are associated or that we need while installing or like booting up the operating system. So as you all know, we install the operating system in our hard disk, but inside that hard disk, when we start the operating system, all those process or all those programs will be converted into the process, or all those programming files will be on the RAM. So slash boot is a directory that is contain the files that are needed to start your system or start your operating system, I can say. So it's recommended to don't do anything in this slash boot, because if you done something wrong, it will like your disturbing your operating system or like corrupting your operating system, I can say. Yeah, so the next directory we can think of is like slash lib and slash usr. Let me give it this two directories also. So slash lib and slash usr, and there is one more directory as bin. So let me talk to this as bin, similar to bin only, but inside the bin there are files, or there are program files or application, or that are installed by a user like us. But in the S bin there are files or program files that are installed when the system or like operating system got installed. So one of the example is like you can think of mkdir command. So this is a command and that is installed under like sbin. You can, why inside sbin, because it's like installed during the system, or you can say it's a system binary you can think of. Now lib is a libraries, or you can think of like when you install some python or like python application, so whatever the files or whatever the library, if you are aware of python contains is a bunch of libraries only. So those libraries are gonna install in this particular slash lib. Now the next directory is slash usr. Slash usr is a directory where the you can say is like it's like a slash home only, but usr is like a mix mesh of the applications, libraries, and the files that are created by you. What I mean by this is slash user contain the files and the folders that is related to the application, and that particular application is launched by a particular user. Yeah, so this is like all about the Linux hierarchy file system, and let me summarize to you is first thing is everything is a command. What I mean by is whatever we done in GUI with the help of mouse or like keyboards, in the background it will run some command only. So if we know the command, we can achieve whatever we want to achieve. Second is Linux follows the file system, or you can say it manages the file in the hierarchical form. Now the main advantage of maintaining the things in hierarchical form is like just a management, or to save your time. Don't waste your energy. Why? Because if the files are managed hierarchically in proper way, you can go to that particular folder and you can achieve, or you can access those file. Like if you want, as I given you example, so slash home slash username user1 slash home user2. If you want to get your files, that means user1 files, you don't need to go to this particular directory. Only you can go to this particular directory and get the file access whatever you want to do. And I told you like slash is a root directory in a Linux. It's like the C directory in Windows, and inside this directory multiple directories and files are created uh, depending on the situation or depending on the categories. Like slash bin is maintaining the binaries or the application files, slash home is for the user home directory. In this particular, another subdirectories are created per user level wise. So this is all about the things, and uh, in the next video, what is the target for us is to list the files with the command. So if you see this, we are able to see the files by using this graphical way. What I mean by graphical way is, so in the slash etc, those all files are you can able to see with the graphical manner. And as I show you, like we can create directory with the command also. And similarly, in the next lecture, we're gonna discuss how to check the files with the command line. So you need to understand one, you can say is like Sigma rule. You need to understand. First Sigma rule is like everything is command. Second, you need to understand is GUI and CLI is just a way to interact with OS, but the motto is same to run some application or to interact with OS. Third, you need to understand for everything there is command in Linux or in any operating system, you can say, because when you are launching that particular application or program with graphically in the background, it's launching some command only. So there is a command for everything in the Linux, but only thing you need to do is you need to search that command, you need to learn those commands, you need to uh, get through those commands. Like what are the command to launch Firefox? So as I told you, Firefox is a command to launch a browser. So there is, now you know one thing, that there is a command to launch browser using command line. So another command is, is like cheese. So this is a command to launch camera in your Linux operating system. Third thing is mkdir. So this is a command that we're gonna discuss more in detail in upcoming videos. But yeah, as of now, you know that if you want to create folder in your Linux operating system, what you need to do is you need to run this command with some folder name you need to give. That's it. So yeah, so for creating folder, there is another command. Similarly, For everything there are multiple command. Like if you want to add user, there is some different command. If you want to delete user, there is some different command. If you want to create some file with the command line, there is a different command. To open some editor, like we done in the last video, we open the notepad with the command line in the Windows. So if you open more, you want to open some editor in the Linux also, so there is different command. So you need to know this thing, or you need to keep this thing in mind. So for everything, for every possible thing in the Linux, there is one command. Only thing you need to do is you need to learn those command, and you need to search, or you can search on Google also. Like I want to make a directory in the Linux, what is the command for it? So if I show you a demo, so if you practice multiple times, it will be in your mind. Like so for launching a folder, or launch, or for creating a folder, if someone asks you what is the command, you can within a second you can able to give answer, like mkdir is a command. So this thing will come by practice and learning the things. Let's say I want to create folder, and you can write in Linux, and then you can write like command. See the mkdir command. So similarly, in this way, you can search all the commands. It depends on your requirement and depends on your task, what you want to achieve. Like if you want to show all the files in folder, then what is the command? You similarly you can search on Google, like you want to list all files in, like you can ask in folder in Linux. See, this is the command. So slowly when you keep on practicing and keep on searching the things and keep on using the things, so you will be getting familiar with all of this command and all of this concept. So it's all depend on your practicing, learning the things, how you are learning the things, how you are researching the things. But I guarantee you, like after the last video of this particular series, you can able to answer all of the questions uh, that are like nobody can answer, or I say most of the people are not able to answer. So that all come by practice. And there is another sigma rule and the golden rule in the world is practice makes the man perfect. So you need to practice more and more on the videos as you are learning those videos. So thank you guys for this video. Let's meet in the next video. We're gonna discuss something very interesting and something new in the next video. Hope you like this video. Please like the video, comment your doubts, and share the video.